Do you have Moon and Pluto in your horoscope? The aspect, the conjunction, when they're in the same sign, or the opposition or the square, are the aspects you feel the most. And if you have this, the video is for you, basically. Well, Pluto and Moon is very intense and difficult combination, but which can give great results later in life. What is the Moon? The Moon is one's emotional needs. And the Moon and Pluto is the most intense and turbulent planet that exists. So such people have a deep need of intense emotional situations. They do not like to get involved half-heartedly in anything. They would go there with their full power in a relationship. They do not like superficial relationships. You will not keep them there. They want the full merging, the full, like, obsessive, together, totally intertwined relationship. They do not like being on the surface. They're like an iceberg. You know, you see a little bit from them, but emotionally there is like 10 times more beneath the surface what these people are really like. And often you see them behaving, you know, like acting like nothing is wrong, but underneath there might be so much happening. It's very hard to get to know those people because they're very protective of their feelings, because usually in their early childhood, which is described by the Moon, the early home environment, they might have felt that they could not show their emotions because their emotions would be used against them, to blackmail them, to manipulate them. Or maybe they had a lot of secrets in their family, a lot of skeletons in the wardrobe, as they say, and a lot of buried secrets which they got used to hiding. So even in their adult age, they'll be very protective of their inner soul, of what's happening within them, of their feelings. And you need to earn their trust with a lot of effort for them to disclose to you what they really feel. You cannot just crash in there and ask them, about their secrets. It takes time for them to expose themselves. And also, they'll bury their feelings often because of trauma maybe in the past, because often the emotions are so powerful that they have difficulty processing those feelings, so they'll bury them. And at certain moments in their life, big emotional, even without any outer trigger visible, they can have like a boil that grows on the surface and bursts after that, and it can be like an emotional volcano, a mental breakdown or something like that. So these people, even though for long periods of time they can play it cool and smooth, at certain moments in their life there is too much intensity to bear, so they either have to do some counseling, so some healing work, some energy work, some inner analysis, withdraw and analyze themselves, work with a therapist to be able to let go of those feelings. And Pluto is associated to the darker side of human beings, to the feelings of jealousy, through feelings of obsession, through feelings of anger and hatred. They either love you or hate you. There is no in between there. And all those deep, intense feelings, which are never gray colored, always extreme, these feelings, they have difficulty letting go of those feelings, so they'll keep a resentment or hurt or anger for much longer than others. That's why they would benefit so much from counseling or from some energy work or through some spiritual work as well. Or, as I said, is that they can just have a mental breakdown, and after this mental breakdown, these people become some of the most powerful and strong people, because they've been there, they've seen it all, they've done it all, nothing can shock them, and they become like a rock, like an emotional rock for others. That's why these people with Moon Pluto aspects can make some of the best therapists, psychologists, that help others through crisis, through overcoming deep-seated difficult emotions like fear, jealousy, revenge, anger, because they felt it, they've gone through those crises. And their life is never smooth. Their emotional life, even if on the surface it looks smooth, the emotional life is like a Greek tragedy. There is always, they react so strongly to things within themselves usually, that they need this purging at certain periods in their life and letting go. And the Moon describes the paternal figure, the major maternal figure. during the childhood. Maybe it was a grandmother, maybe sometimes might have been the father who played the nurturing role, but usually it's the mother. And she might have been quite Plutonian, which is controlling in subtle, manipulative ways, trying to, you know, control every aspect of the child's life. And maybe your mother was like, you know, not allowing you to have any secrets, or like reading your diary, or, you know, like trying to be overly mothering and not letting you be yourself alone. And later on in life, Moon, especially a Moon Pluto woman, can parent in the same way her children, can be overly motherly, overly invasive. And also in her relationship, such a woman, even though she doesn't like to be invasive, she doesn't like to show her feelings, she would do that to her partner, to delve deep, to see his most hidden recesses. She would analyze him, she would look at him, she would observe him. She might even do some manipulative games with him so she can find the partner's weak spots, because a Moon Pluto person feels that if they know the other person well, if they cannot harm them, if they know their weaknesses, they can't harm them, because they have the power, they have the upper hand. But they have to guard a lot from such manipulative games of control, of power. But they're great emotional manipulators if they want to, you know. They can do it better than anyone else. And they should strive to use this amazing power of Moon Pluto for helping others, for healing others, for being in careers of transformation, of transforming another, especially when you're helping another transform their feelings, which is the Moon. And again, as I said, they can be a bit invasive in relationships, or they can try and dig deep and understand everything about the partner. And often they would not trust others, because they're so finely attuned, they so easily pick up, and the feelings of others, which are the negative human feelings, they so easily tune into the collective subconscious, which is related to jealousy, to, you know, all taboo topics, cheating, lying, obsession. And always it's very hard to lie to such a person. He will smell a rat from a mile. You know, you have to be honest with the Moon Pluto person to win their trust, and little by little they start opening up for you. And they can have, you know, sometimes, as I said, they would often try and bury those feelings themselves, but they would erupt on the surface when they can no longer control them. And after that, they come up like the bird, like the phoenix bird. Out of the ashes, they rise much more stronger. They become some of the most powerful people emotionally, and others go to them for advice and for strength. And because nothing shocks those people, they've seen it, they've done it all, you know, all ugly, dirty parts of human nature. They are highly aware of it, so they can help you deal with such traumas yourself, help another person deal with such traumas. And as I said, if you want to be in a relationship with Moon Pluto person, you have to be very honest, and you have to be very don't be invasive. If they try to be invasive to yourself, know that they'll do it with the motivation to know you better, to protect themselves more. So yeah, very sensitive, highly psychic. It can give very strong psychic intuitions to these people. They can have awakening of the third eye, just like with the Moon, with Neptune or Uranus, with the outer planets. It creates a lot of psychic ability. But this one in particular ability is to deal with the undercurrents. And also when they can be great in organizations where they have to feel the undercurrents of the trends of the collective unconscious, where trends are going. Such people feel those things, and they can contribute a lot in organizations where it's needed, this insight into where the trends are going. So they can have great power over multitudes of people. They can have great charismatic power, emotional power over others, but they usually tend to use it a lot in their interpersonal relationships, and hopefully for good and not for negative. And even though it's very traumatic, especially in early age or past lives, they have some buried memories of trauma. Often people that were regressed with Moon Pluto, they either had some abuse in the family or in past life, usually some sexual, something hidden, and they need a lot in this life to release those feelings, to transform them. That's why they're here in their life, and help others with the same. Thank you.